Once you know these facts, again, it's THC, truth, history, consciousness. Once you know these facts, and if you don't support weed, and once you present these facts to someone and they don't support weed, you know in fact that you're talking to a fucking idiot. Check this stuff out. Mankind saw by the light of the hemp seed oil lamp longer than any point in illumined history. That statement right there is pretty powerful. So let's just stay there for a moment, because you don't hear people talking about that. I say that. Captain Cannabis is bringing you this information. So basically, since people have been on the planet lighting things on fire, they've been lighting hemp on fire, and they've been lighting weed on fire. So to not be able to do that when I want, when that's what helped us survive and compete and thrive, and the fact that we're not using it in America, the nation literally created and founded, and our progenitors got here because of hemp, and we're not able to grow it, that is the greatest conspiracy. There is nothing more evil than that. That is just straight up fucked up. All right, we are live. Running a little late. Technical difficulties. That is my bad. I had to stop at the Party City store to get a funny costume. The real Captain Cannabis costume is in production, so this is just a temporary holdover. Got some green in the mix, got the mask and the little leaf on it, but I had to do it for a reason, and the reason is because I'm going to sign live on the air the Florida medical marijuana petition. The producer's getting that, and it has to be one sheet of paper. That's the most important thing. Now, I already signed this thing, and you guys got to do it too. If you're a Florida resident, I don't care if you smoke or not. It's about freedom. It's about liberty. It's about truth. It's about compassion. There's a woman in, I believe it's Palm Beach County with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. This woman has been wheelchair bound for many years. This is a muscle condition, muscle wasting, nerve atrophy, very serious medical condition. You being wheelchair bound and having ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease is not easy. It's a tough fight. This woman's husband has been very supportive. Like many people with neuromuscular conditions, she found that cannabis is very helpful with her pain, relaxing her muscles from contractions, loosening up her body so she can get a good night's sleep, and fighting off the disease. Because like so many neuromuscular diseases, there is no real treatment, there is no real medicine, because there's no real money to be made by a drug industry. So this young woman from Florida chose to ingest cannabis, smoke cannabis, basically God's medicine, God's gift to mankind, and she had it growing in her house. And of course, Uncle Scam, Fed, DEA task force kicked this woman's door down and took her, some 10 plants, and took them from her property and destroyed them on the premise. Now, where else can you show me that a plant causes so much hysteria? Where else can you show me that a plant causes so much damage? Even poppy plants can be grown, and you can't do anything with them unless you know how to, basically treat them chemically and manufacture, opium or heroin from them. But where in nature can you show me that just a plant, of the millions of plant species on the planet, is just banned, eradicated, cops kick down your door and take it from you, they put you in jail for it, they lie about it. It was in the Bible and they took it out. It was in our school books and they took it out. It was in Smithsonian Museum and they took it out. It was in the Field Museum of Natural History and they took it out. And it's just, to me, it's puzzling, it's baffling. I don't understand why this plant, hemp and cannabis, are so chastised, so feared, so hated. It's almost like a new type of racism, like weedism or greenism. But something about this little plant drives people absolutely insane and crazy, and they can't handle it, and they just go nuts over it. And I know why as Captain Cannabis, but I want you to know why too, because I believe that if you know the truth and you're informed, you're able to make the best decision for you and your family. So this is the Captain Cannabis Show. I'm your host, Captain Cannabis. I started in 1993 by going to pro-hemp and pro-cannabis legalization events all across America, and I would just speak. I was a public speaker like many. I talked about personal experience, you know, the things I had learned about the plant, and I got turned on to it late in life. I wasn't, you know, a pothead or a weed smoker or a hippie or a metalhead in high school. I was actually straight edge. I got straight A's, and I went to school for pre-medical biology, and that's where I got turned on to cannabis. But it's not like your normal first experience of going to college and trying beer and trying alcohol and trying this and trying cannabis and trying sex and all that. What it was for me was I actually had a assignment for political science class, and we had to choose, you know, legalization, pro or con. And my gut reaction was to be against cannabis legalization because I was like everyone else, being constantly lied to and being told that weed makes you dumb, weed makes you a loser, you'll lose your job, you're a bad person if you do it, it's a drug, all this bull crap. And it was actually in 1990 when I heard Jack Herrera speak, and I picked up a copy of The Emperor Wears No Clothes, and I've read it several times cover to cover. Since then, I've bought many other publications about hemp and cannabis, but that one is still my favorite because Jack Herrera touched me. Like, he spoke, and I could feel, you know, the goose pimples, similar to when you listen to good music, and I knew that this man was speaking the truth. And this particular book is The Emperor Wears No Clothes, Hemp and the Marijuana Conspiracy, the authoritative historical record of the cannabis plant, marijuana prohibition, and how hemp can still save the world. I'm green. I'm not a hippie. I'm more of a ecologinomist because I believe that we can use ecology and plants to make the world a better place. And I'm living proof of how that can be done. So what we're getting into today is the fact that in Florida there is a petition to sign your name on the dotted line, put your money where your mouth is, let your political opinion and voice be heard. And what that is we have an opportunity in Florida to go to a particular website, and it's called United for Care. And on this website, there is a petition where you can voice your political opinion and download this PDF, and a constitutional amendment petition form is what it is, and it's ballot title, Use of Marijuana for Certain Medical Conditions. Now, you got to understand, this isn't recreational smoking like some states have done. This isn't a blanket open medical policy. This is very specific diseases. So this is why everyone needs to pay attention to this. This is not going to allow people to smoke cannabis recreationally. This is not going to give a badge to everyone in the state who wants to smoke weed. What this constitutional amendment in Florida will do is people with no other form of medicinal help will be allowed for the first time in Florida history to get some type of help, some type of alleviation, some type of hope from a plant, affordably, legally, taxed, monitored, kept safe. I mean, this thing is very controlled, like all things in the government. It's very controlled. So basically, we have an opportunity in Florida to get people compassionate care through this plant. So I don't care if you smoke it or not. Please pay attention to this fact, this reality. By signing this amendment, you are saying that I believe that people with no other hope, no other medicine, no other form of assistance should be allowed to smoke a regulated natural plant with no history of disease. That is what this boils down to. That is what this is about. This is what I need your support in doing. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to have an episode where you'll see me live on the air sign the constitutional amendment petition form, and I'm asking you to do the same. And you go to United for Care website and you fill out you download the PDF, print it out, and it has to be double-sided, you know, so one sheet of paper with the front and the back of the petition on both sides. In addition to that, you have to have a voter registration card. So you have to be legal to exercise your right to vote in Florida. And again, the important part about this petition is to understand we're not making cannabis free and available to all. We're making cannabis available to those who need it legitimately. So please understand, this isn't a cannabis revolution in the state of Florida. It is the next logical step, if you know the facts and the issues, that people suffering from debilitating medical conditions find relief through the use of this plant. I'm not talking about how cannabis cures cancer. I'm not talking about how juicing cannabis stops many diseases and conditions in its tracks. What I'm talking about is there's a large portion of the population worldwide, nationally, in North America, and yes, also in Florida, of people who have medical conditions which otherwise get no help or treatment at all. So that's what this petition is about. That is the main point here. And I am supporting this because I believe that anyone should have the right to put into their body whatever they want. And the fact is that they're not allowed to in Florida. And what's even more troubling is in Florida, for the last 10 years, we've had a very serious pain pill epidemic. I personally lost friends. I know friends who've lost friends. I know people who've committed suicide because of these pain pills. I had my personal battle with pain when I severely injured my back. My back was so messed up I couldn't stand up for 2 weeks. I did not take pain pills. I chose to fight it, to work through it, and use cannabis as my pain reliever and use other natural products to defeat it. I didn't get hooked on the pills. It was too easy. It's pathetic and it's disgusting that you can just go and go, oh, my back hurts, and they give you pain pills. But we literally have to have a petition and fight for our right to self-medicate, and that is just wrong. And another thing that pisses me off is how you know, Obama's supposed to be the guy who admitted to inhaling. You have pictures of the guy smoking weed, and he's like, oh, we won't be messing with the cannabis users. That's an outright lie. I'm not getting on any other political topic about the man, but that's what pisses me off. Is the fact is that Obama's spending tax dollars raging war yet again on cannabis users. It's sick, it's wrong, it's illegitimate, and it pisses me off about our president. He straight up lied, said he would give you know, medical and compassionate cannabis users a break, and he's worse than any other president since they first made it illegal, and it's just wrong. So Obama, shame on you. You know you smoked it. You know it helped you. You know you have friends and family who do it, and it's just wrong that you sold your soul to political powers and are putting, you know, people in the prison system who don't need to be in the prison system. Now, Obama, if you were smart and you knew about our Constitution and liberty and the Founding Fathers and the things that made America great, you would use hemp. Cannabis is, you know, close relative, and if you were really caring about, you know, environmental issues, instead of just shutting down coal plants and not offering any alternative, you would read up on this plant that was used historically, and you would know that it could be used for biodiesel, for heating oil, for biomass, for a variety of energy. It's not an outright solution. Cannabis doesn't solve all the world's problems, but it solves many of them, and when used in combination of other new ideas and new systems, it's just an overall benefit to society and mankind. So to be banned and be eradicated, whether it's hemp or whether it's cannabis, it's just ignorant, and I'm here to battle that ignorance. Can we roll the what's happening in the news segment? That's my rant to get the show started, and I just wanted to jump into the news and share some of the stuff what's going on with the people. So let's run that segment. And I was late, but I do like to do this in the show. Back in my DJ days, this is something I always used to do for my internet radio shows. This is how I like to start the show, like this. Yeah. It's 4:20 or close enough. I don't care if it's 4:19, 4:39. We're going to fire it up. We're going to do it right. We're going to spread our message of truth about hemp and cannabis to as many people as who care to listen. Because we believe, as American citizens in the nation founded on hemp, that we should have the right to use this plant without discrimination, whether it's hemp or cannabis. And I am Captain Cannabis, and since 1993, I have been promoting truth, history, and consciousness. That is my little term I coined to THC, truth, history, consciousness. I refer to facts, documents, books, letters. Anyone can go online and research stuff and regurgitate what they see. But what I choose to do is I choose to try to maintain a level of knowledge about hemp and cannabis so that I'd like to be considered an expert. But there's people who know way more than me about hemp and cannabis. But I know enough to be dangerous, and I know enough to get inspired, and I know enough to share my passion about the plant. And I simply want the right to use it in this country without fear of, imprisonment. And we got a long way to go. We have 17 states using it medically. We have a few states using it recreationally, and now we have a couple states where we have the right to, start researching it from the perspective of just hemp as a industrial raw material. And that's my main thing I would like to educate people on is there's hemp and there's cannabis. Hemp is the plant from the cannabis sativa family, which does not have any THC. This plant grows taller, it has more stem, less leaves, and considerably less bud tissue or colas, or the portion of the plant that contains THC. Whereas cannabis, on the other side of the spectrum, shorter, stouter, more leaves, more buds, bigger colas. So please, people, understand, don't demonize one portion of the plant and take down the whole family with it. That's like if you have a person in your family that commits a crime, the whole family is guilty. That's just wrong. But here we are in the news. This is amazing. The drug war is the worst war in history of America and history of mankind. It's worse than any other war. It's killed more people. It's bred more corruption into government and police agencies. It's broken apart families, and it's created very deadly people to be millionaires. And Mexico is going to legalize marijuana in 5 years, says their former president. Here's what's going on in Mexico, the murder capital of the world, worse than Chicago. You have as many as 50 murders, drug-related murders, a day in Mexico. People all across Canada and North America use cannabis despite prohibition. If we had an intelligent president, he would legalize it and tax it, get us out of debt, end the prison state, quit the war on American citizens. And that these facts are what inspired me as Captain Cannabis to come up with the lyrics to the song G-Force. Free your mind, free your soul, free the herb, and pack another bowl. but basically, former Mexican president he knows the truth. He knows how many people have died. He knows how many people are getting wealthy, and that's what's so messed up in Mexico is so many people have guns and are part of the violence, whereas the citizens don't have guns, don't have any means of protecting themselves. But the criminals have the guns, the citizens don't. And these criminals kill whoever is in their way, and they've taken over the government, and they're bribing people, and they're murdering people, and it's because there is an insatiable demand for cannabis. Now, an intelligent president, intelligent congressman, people who cared about people not dying, they would legalize cannabis both medicinally and recreationally in America, and they would stop the murders, stop the bad people from getting the money, and basically we would end our national debt. That's what would happen. And I am very happy to hear that the former Mexican president is putting his balls on the line and stating the truth. And the truth is that if it was not illegal, there would be no drug war. There would be no drug trade. There would be no 60% of people in prison for cannabis. Families would not be torn apart, you know. People need their medicine and they need their stress relief. It's very stressful to be alive in 2013 in America when your government is lying to you. Your neighbors are being brainwashed watching TV all day. A plant that was given to us by God, by Mother Nature, by Earth, which cures people of disease, frees them from stress and anxiety, and keeps them healthy. Your body is designed to take in this plant. Your body has an endocannabinoid system which processes metabolically cannabis in a variety of ways. It's part of who we are as humans. And you know, cannabis is still illegal, and people are still going to jail, and people are still dying, and it's got to stop. And thank God that my prayers and other people who are pro-legalization's prayers have been answered, and you have someone in Mexico knows the truth, knows the facts, isn't scared to tell it like it is, and he's fighting to have cannabis legalized, because once it's legalized, the corrupt government officials and members of law enforcement, game over. They can't keep it up. They're going to have to reconcile. They will face the truth and the history and the consciousness sooner or later. As long as people like myself are putting the truth out there, enough people will know, we'll gain critical mass, and we'll be able to fight the beast, fight the system. So very, very big news for our segment. What's happening in the news is Mexico could legalize marijuana in 5 years, says their former president. Now, here's another thing. This is my personal beef. It's like some people say that if you call a African American, a black person, the N-word, that's wrong. Other people are like, freedom of speech, say what I want. Well, I don't mean to offend someone when I say this. I don't like the word nigger. I don't particularly care for it. But I also don't like the word marijuana because they're both made-up derogatory words. Marijuana was a word made up by a government official, part of Harry Anslinger's smear campaign team in the 20s and 30s, to take the real legitimate name cannabis and smear it in the media. So marijuana is a made-up word. It has no real botanical or scientific value. Just like the N-word, it's a made-up word to hold people down, to hold a plant down. And it's accepted in common culture, but I don't accept it. One of my goals as the captain is just get rid of that word, marijuana. It's just, it is what it is, but I want people to know the truth, know the facts. Here's other big news. This is great. Rules change on Olympic marijuana test. There it is again, and it just pisses me off because then you know the assholes who made cannabis illegal still have that word that they can always hold over us. It's like, why are they allowed? Why can't they say the N-word? It's no longer acceptable to say the N-word, but they still say marijuana. It's the same. It's a made-up word to hold people down. But let's focus here. Here's what's going on in the Olympics: is how many professional athletes have lost medals for testing positive for cannabis use. This is ridiculous, and all the drug testers know it because You could smoke weed a month before competing in the Olympics. Just a couple puffs. And since your body has an endocannabinoid system, and since your body takes in THC, stores it in your fat cells, and does stuff with it to heal and promote wellness, people have, been stripped of their metals. It's ridiculous. So now what they're talking about doing and what they're working on is the rules are changing on Olympic cannabis testing. They say marijuana, I'm going to call it cannabis. It is what it is. So hopefully soon, long gone are the days in which someone who uses cannabis will no longer be stripped of their metals. Now, who is this guy? Oh my God, who is this guy? The world's greatest swimmer, Michael Phelps. This guy's a cannabis user. This guy's gotten more medals than anyone. This is someone who breathes in cannabis and shows that all those lies about weed are just that, lies. If cannabis was bad for your lungs and caused cancer and did all this damage, then who's this guy who needs his lung power more than most sports to win at swimming events? This guy is a super athlete, great condition, cannabis user, should be celebrated by the entire community and should be looked up as a model citizen. It's disgusting to think that this guy who uses God's plant is spoken of illegitimately when he represents what America's all about. Someone in great shape, taking care of their body and their mind, using cannabis as an aid to do just that and in achieving victory for our nation. That's who I aspire to be like, is this guy. Now, am I an Olympic athlete? No. Maybe when bong tokens in the Olympics, yeah, I might enter myself. But hats off to Michael Phelps for showing that you can use cannabis intelligently as part of living healthy. So this is awesome. They're going to, allow you to be in the Olympics even if you've tested positive for cannabis. It's just phenomenal. But that's how it should be. It's a plan. It doesn't give you extra powers like blood doping or any type of speed. It just happens to be good for you. It just happens to be a plant. It's not altered and turned into anything else. So this is long overdue, but I will celebrate that victory. So good news coming from Mexico, President talking about legalizing cannabis, and then more good news coming from the Olympics, showing how it can happen. But that's it. That's the news. And what I'm going to be airing in between this week and next is Captain Cannabis signing the pro-medical amendment to the Florida Constitution. So there you have it. That's the show. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. And check us out on Facebook and YouTube. Just look up the Captain Cannabis Show and you will find the crew. And we are excited to continue sharing with you what's happening in the news and truth, history, consciousness about hemp and cannabis. God bless.